Thanks for staying with us. So we got a message from an online viewer who wanted us to thrash or help them discuss an issue. According to them, their family member or siblings that she has is always asking her husband for money. So this is a woman married to a man who's obviously, from this story, he's a wealthy man. And her family members, her brothers and sisters, constantly asking this man for money without her own permission or going through her. So she just always finds out that money is leaving the man's account and it's going to her siblings. To the point where her husband's family are somewhat being deprived of this man's financial assistance because her own family are overwhelming him with their own requests. So her mother-in-law also someone that can see, tell your husband, tell your family members now to take it easy with my children, with my son. Because he has other obligations in our own family. He has people school fees to pay here too. He has things he wants to do. So she now felt embarrassed that you guys are stressing my husband. Now, she's looking like the enemy on the side of her family because it's like you don't want your husband to help your family. And she's looking like the enemy on her husband's side because you're not cautioning your people to leave our son alone. How do we advise a woman in this situation? Because you're torn between loving your family and then loving your husband's family also, or respecting their requests. What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-7694. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet and send us messages on YouTube and Facebook. We'll be happy to hear your thoughts. So I hope I didn't confuse you with the...
No, we got it.
So this is the situation. How do you handle this? You want to start?
Nancy, that is outright disrespectful. We need to start teaching ourselves boundaries. That is one thing that especially most of us in this part of the world don't understand boundaries. You have no right to ask for something, even if I am your sister, and you pass my head and go to my husband. Let me say how you collect it. It is outright disrespectful. We need to start respecting ourselves. We need to start putting ourselves where other people can respect us. And it starts from how we respect ourselves. Why do you want to go ahead of your sister to the husband to make a request? How do you think your husband will look at you and look at your family in the future? Because the truth is, they will say, no, I'm in love, I'm in love. The day they quarrel, they'll use it to talk against you. And that's how your family are always, they're always begging. Your family members are beggy people. It's important that we begin to have our own standards. It's about standards. If you need anything and your sister is married to somebody who has money, why don't you approach your sister? Auntie, please help us. Your sister knows how to present the matter to the husband.
Your sister is a mean person, but the husband is a very nice guy.
A mean person. I mean, Mariam.
I will come to you. If I'm your sister, I will come to you. I'll go to your husband. Your husband who is a nice person.
Auntie, you will not get it. Let me tell you.
Because of this behavior, I will come to you.
No, it's not about the behavior. It's about respecting me. You don't respect me, you go straight to my husband. Are you the one that gave me the husband? I brought him to the family. So why don't you want to? You don't know how I've even painted you in the presence of my husband. Because see, men have a psychology of, taking note of everything that happens in the wife's family. They pay attention to those. You think it's small 5K here, small 20K here, small pay school fees here. By the time when the chips are down, they will use it against you. So a woman in presenting the needs of her family knows how to paint it, knows how to bring it at the appropriate time, knows when the husband is in the mood to listen to it and sign off the check. You don't know how he's feeling on that day. You just meet him. Hey, brother, we want this, we want. See, it is. Don't try it with me. I don't take it because I need you to respect yourself. Respect. No, honestly. And it's not just family members, though. Even friends. You meet, you are my friend, and then I get married, and then you go straight to my husband to demand, come and collect it, let me see. We need to respect ourselves.
All right.
Please, let's give her cold water to drink. Before we continue this
conversation. What time is it? I still have 3 more minutes. Okay, but, so I hear that, but the truth is that we have seen situations where we have sisters like this, that will bite you.
I'm not a mean person.
You're not a mean person.
Thank
you. But you have your boundaries and you're assertive in that way. And because of that, I know my sister will just say no. If I go to my sister, my sister's name is Sister Linda.
Sister BC.
If I go to Sister Linda will say no. You got something last week, no. But because I desperately need it, I know that Uncle John who is a nice person. Uncle John, because I have a relationship with Uncle John. Uncle John sees me as Sister Linda's younger sister. He would listen to me. So, but the worry in Miriam is that why is his family complaining about this? Isn't it his obligation to his wife's family?
Hi.
Well, we have the traditional Nigerian way of doing things.
Yeah.
And usually when you marry into a family, the man takes care of his wife and his wife's family.
Right.
So I understand where some people are coming from. Like, okay, this is now our brother.
Yes.
Sometimes we have a different kind of, in their minds, we have a different type of relationship with him than because he's our brother-in-law. Yes, you may be the one that married him and, you know, because of you, we know him. But now we have formed such a close bond. Yes. He's now our bro. Yes. I mean, we even hang out sometimes together. We can call each other, you know, and we just. But concerning this asking money, asking for favors, is totally disrespectful to go around a wife or go around a husband to do that. The reason is you just don't know what's happening between these two people. You don't know the sort of conversations that they have after he has written you a check and goes and says, well, that thing that you said you wanted to do for, let's say, one of your sons, we can't do it because I had to give it to your family members. When you want to stand and demand for something, you're like, why are you demanding? Did I not just give half of that to your family? So your family has gotten it, that's enough. And especially if you feel that your family is doing this consistently and not being sensitive about it. You know, the part also that she seemed to be confused about is that one of the siblings that's asking for this favor is older than she is. There has to be boundaries. There has to be the way an older sibling would behave. There are expectations of that person. Yes, we know when they're... You see, I read somewhere that when you have like a rich person in your family, the rich person is not meant to be the one that takes care of every tiny issue. It's like when big things happen. There's someone in hospital and they need a large amount of money to solve it. You go to the rich person in that family. You don't want to overwhelm that person with tiny, tiny requests that when the big one comes, then it becomes uncomfortable.
Sometimes it's easy for us to have this conversation from this perspective, but there are some really, really, really poor families. And that's your husband, who is a kind, rich person, is who they're looking up to. Now, because your sister, yes, might or might not accept, but because you really need that help. Yes, he has helped you through the university. Younger brother too needs help. A cousin who has been there, you know, there are things that you desperately need. So
right, let me tell you, the narrative of the kind husband and the wicked wife is always from people that are always asking for money. It's never from the man's side. I've never heard a man that will sit and that is helping her family say, your sister is so wicked, I have to do this behind her back. It's not true. It's always the people outside judging. Because if he gave me 5 naira yesterday, he gave me the day before yesterday, and I went and I asked him, and when I asked him, she was sitting down there, and I just know that it's because of her. Sometimes the only reason you got that is because of her. You don't know the conversations that happen inside the house. And lots of times, people have this, and for me, I think it's negative and I think it's untrue. You just assume that the good that the man is doing in the house is done behind. They discuss everything.
Yes,
Husbands and wives discuss everything. It's a lack of respect for that person. Sometimes you think you know her too well. You don't see her finish, so you go around her.
We're going to break. When we come back, we'll take some calls and hear your thoughts on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So we're talking about the fact that a woman is complaining that a husband is giving out money to her siblings, and she's complaining. And then there's a part of that complaint where she said, now most of my family members are blaming me on this matter. They said I'm acting proud and I want to destroy the family because of the little changes that my husband has, that I was supposed to defend my family. According to her, she says, I am just lost. I'm surprised because they said I need to apologize to my older ones. Now, remember they said that she had said that these were our older siblings, our older family members that were asking her husband for money. So she feels a bit lost that, okay, her family is upset with her. Is it because your husband has money? What's your problem? Why you being so mean to your loved ones? You see?
See, I would want to tell everyone to know this and know peace. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything. If you have that at the back of your mind, life will be so much easier for you. A lot of African rich men who started out building their wealth, riches gradually, putting 20 kobo aside, 30 kobo aside, are often pulled down because of family responsibilities, and not just immediate family, extended family. Once they see that you have a small light, everybody just wants to latch on and drain you as much as they can. If you give yourself away like that, you will come back to that level. And you cannot help the poor if you're among them. You need to get to a point where you can give when you can give. And when you cannot give, you politely say, I cannot be of help right now. The thing about life is, nobody is your God. Everybody has the same capacities to make it. So once you have that at the back of your mind, when you're making demands and somebody says, I cannot give you at this time, you don't get upset because the person is not your God. The person wasn't sent to that place for you. If the person is able to, so there are people that are naturally stingy, that's a different ball game. But when a particular family keeps draining and dragging and draining and dragging, and people don't understand that what wives, a child who is grounded in a family and marries into another family, what they do when they get there is to protect the image of their family members. If we expose everything the way it is, do you think my husband will respect you? We try as much as possible to protect you. So if some demands are coming in and I'm saying we can't afford to give this right now, it's because it's not convenient or because some things are not adding up.
Some will argue that is it not in your interest that your siblings are able to make it? It's not in your interest.
It is in my interest if I can. So let me tell you what happened recently. I got a new PA. And then after a while, she just worked for a month. And then her father got sick. And when her father got sick, she's the only person who was given the responsibility to go to the village to cater for the father and all that. And this is somebody who, I've known her story. I've known her for quite a long time. She's been struggling and struggling. She's a young girl in her mid-20s. She's been struggling to just, she's in Lagos trying to get job, make ends meet and all that. And then this responsibility just comes. She has elder ones who left this for her because she's not married to be the only person. And then she had to leave this job. Now she's the one taking care of this family, her father, because no other person, those ones are too busy doing their thing to do it. And that is putting her life on a pause. So if tomorrow something happens and she's not able to go for the thing she's going for, her life has been truncated because there's a responsibility somewhere wearing her down. We need to be very careful.
Let me now use that example. I want to use that example for you.
We need to be very careful on how we allow responsibilities to put a stop to where we're supposed to get to. If those other family members came together, contributed money to pay somebody else to take care of their father so that this young girl can at least build her life to a certain aspect.
Using your example,
don't you think it would make more sense?
Absolutely.
Would she be more successful?
Using that example, now if this young girl now go and ask her sister's husband for money,
she should ask her sister. That's where the respect comes. Her sister is not a mad person. So as much as I look tough and my husband looks nice, I am more straightforward in terms of giving requests. So before your request lands on my table, I know if I'm going to do it or not. And I tell you yes or a no, which is better for you. If you get a yes, you tell me thank you. If you get a no, you work for it and wait for another time. But my husband will say, okay. And that okay can drag. And if you need that thing really and it comes through me, I can hasten that okay. If I keep quiet, you don't get it. He keeps telling you okay and okay. So it's about understanding who your person is. My husband is not your person. I am your person. Come to me and I will project it for you.
Let me take this call from Richard. Richard, are you there?
Yes, good morning, ladies.
Good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
All right, great. So, they say respect is reciprocal, right? So the family started by disrespecting the wife without going through her. Personally, I, as a man, I would prefer that my wife's family go through my wife, not because I cannot interact with them directly, but I'll do that for two reasons. Number one, to protect my wife, so that she will be given the kind of respect that I want her and that I feel she deserves. Two, it will reduce the kind of pressure that is coming on me, because for my wife, she understands the financial status of the house and she understands their own language in their family. She will be able to communicate better. If any one of her siblings reach out to me immediately I know I will be able to assist or not, but I will still tell them I will discuss with my wife. But if any one of them should tell me, don't let your wife know or anybody, in fact, you have spoiled the matter. Even if I wanted to, I will not.
Thank you very much, Richard. So, you see, there are some... Let me come to you, Miriam. There's some situations where, you see, it's because our husbands or the men we're talking about here, you feel that, okay, this is my husband, but there's some men that are so rich. Like, this is a billionaire kind of man. And he has a lot of properties he's doing. So his wife is not probably involved in everything. So small million here, small 2 million here is not a big deal for him. So because I know that he's so wealthy, and the wife is also happy, the woman then goes behind him, let me go and meet Uncle. Uncle is a billionaire. This small change will not make a difference in his life. So you go to him, and because he's a really kind guy that's open. So it's not as if he's coming to reduce the small money you are managing. No, he has the excess.
So, Mariah, that's why this is not about how much money the person has. It's about respect. That's just what this is about. Because even if it's a multi-billionaire, so we're talking, if the change will be really big. So we're saying that, let's say, instead of asking maybe for a few nairas, you're asking for a job, for a contract, for something to supply something. So that's something that can give you. Women have been known to do that, where they're able to appeal that their family member gets something that they can work on that will help feed the family, because she understands that that's also her own way of empowering her family. People know, they understand that if you're blessed, especially if you come from a home where you don't have so much, and then you're blessed to be married to someone that has so much resources, that because of that marriage, it would somehow reflect on that home. People understand that. But what they find disrespectful and what is unacceptable is the fact that you now think that that person that has brought you together is unimportant in your quest for enriching yourself or just getting favor. This person doesn't mean anything. It's the disrespect. Even if the person did not have a lot of money, just going around the person, your own family member that has brought this to you, is disrespectful. We talked about not just family members, even friends. Yeah. You cannot go around your friend to the person, to her husband, to ask for favors. It does not even make sense. If men did that, if it was the other way around, that your husband would go around his wife's, his friend's, his friend and ask his friend's wife for something. Men will not even do that. They will not think it. They will, it does not make sense. But we think it's okay.
Hassan, are you there? Hassan is in Yakub. Good morning, sir. Go ahead.
These are two sensitive matters. Please, I would like to talk about the two. First of all, about this respecting we blacks. The leader should do something. Please, we were discovered, and we lack respect for ourselves, blacks. We were discovered by the white, which we deserve the ridicule whatsoever. I'm a black man. Even among ourselves, we segment, we discriminate. There's a caste system among us. Black man to black man. And you are expecting a white man that even discovered you to respect you. Forget about that. Secondly, about the wife family answering the husband. It depends on the wife, and it depends on the type of the family she comes from. Some families are so irresponsible to the extent that they can even decide a junior sister can be sleeping with the husband of her senior sister. And they are aware of it because the guy is dishing out money to their family. Yeah. And I would like you to look at it in this way again. Look at it the other way around. In some families, if a wife is rich, the family of the husband are ready to break their names, to forget about their dignity, and go and beg her for anything. I even sell out their soul. It's a two-way thing. And you see, when people, you can decide to respect your wife if she respects herself. And a woman can decide to respect her husband if the man respects himself. So these are two-way things. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Hassan.
My family is quite, my mom especially, my family really quite conservative. My mom is always saying that there are things you cannot do in an in-law's house. your in-law is your in-law. Your in-law is not your best friend. It's not, your in-law is the person that, you know, they are there because your child is married into that family. And so there has to be a way that you carry yourself with respect and with dignity. So you do not bring embarrassment to your child, the representative of your own family in that place. You know, my mom would not enter my room because that's my matrimonial, you know, where I stay with my husband. It's uncalled for. There are some things she would not do because my husband is there, because it's not right. It does not make her look good. And also she understands that would not make me look good. And I am grateful for that, because I see the respect that my mom has and my family member have because of the way that we carry ourselves within, you know, amongst our in-laws. But I understand that there are other cultures, and I've seen that they are more free, you know, they do things. And because they are free and they can do anything and say anything, usually when there's a disagreement, they say anything to each other.
Insult each other anyhow.
So in my own family, if there's a disagreement with my family and the in-laws, they will find it hard to open their mouth and say something disrespectful to my family, because they have carried themselves, you know, respectfully. But if they were just, you know, anyhow, and then somebody will just insult your mother to your face or to your mother's face, and then you don't know where to start from, because you had already opened the door for that kind of disrespect.
Familiarity, they say, breeds contempt, and that's what happens when this sort of thing. But I want to say that it lies with the parents to manage this sort of situation. How are you raising your children to understand boundaries? And I like the example you gave of your mother. I've met Miriam's mom. She's very careful how she does her things, how she will talk to you. Even if she's becoming familiar, you will see how she carries herself with respect. And I remember there was a time an elder auntie asked for something, and she didn't come through me. I was insignificant. She went straight to Oga. And Oga called me and told me that the so-and-so person meet you for something. And I said no. I said, now presented the request that she made. I smiled. I didn't say a word. Then my father got to know. My father was fuming. My father said, what? Did she tell you? I said, no. He said, shut it down. Shut it down. That's total. I will not take it. Shut it down. Tell her I said you should shut it down. It's not going to happen. She should have spoken to you. That's an elder man who understood the place of respecting the person that you claim you value. So why am I there? So you have seen me as someone who has brought in the thing, and then you discard me to one corner, and you're going straight to the source. They say, don't show people where your bakery, where you're baking your bread, or they will snatch the bakery from you. So we need to, and the baker as well. We need to try as much as possible to raise our children to understand boundaries. You must make your request and make it well and present it to the appropriate channel. Don't go behind. Mariah, if I meet you, if I meet Miriam through you, and I need something from Miriam, the respectful thing is for me to ask you, babe, please, I need Miriam to help me with so and so thing. Can you help me talk to her? If you say you cannot help me, can I have her number? That's a reasonable thing to do. We need to educate ourselves.
Let me take this call from Precious. Are you there? We're going to wrap up with this. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's take a few messages, because I want us to link it up to the other topic. Any other messages?
Yes, there are lots of messages here. They say, yes, so Miriam spitting truth. My sister-in-law was first a close friend before becoming family. We're still tight, but conversations are now different. Irrespective of who asked who, judge intention, pattern, and motive. Respect is what it should be. This one says, BC preach. Marriage somebody was saying between two people from different backgrounds. Okay, go ahead.
Somebody was saying that what if it's situation about a wife is placing a demand on the in-laws. So you know your in-laws, you're married into a wealthy family, and your husband is somewhat just, you know, laid back, and you are now trying to take the bull by the horn, going to them, and so is that also disrespectful, or you're just trying to emancipate your family?
No! It's so disrespectful. You know, the reason why people do things like that is because you put in your mind that this is my helper. You have decided that this person, you know, I'm going to make it through this person. Whether the person agrees with you or not. How can I have this person in my family and I'm not suffering? So you have to understand that it is not, you're not entitled to it. That may not be your helper. That may not be the person through whom you will become.
Miriam, I was asking a question to BC earlier. I think I forgot to ask it properly. That is it not in your interest that your siblings are empowered, even through your husband or through you, so that they won't keep coming back to you? So it's in my interest that my sister, who is constantly serving my husband, instead of me to cutting it off, let me allow him help her so that she can therefore become independent.
But the thing is, we're not talking about someone who maybe gets something and then you have a job that you're facing. We're talking of people who keep coming, because that's the conversation, constantly coming. See, and this is so real life. There are people that will tell you, this is my sister, you know I got her a job. After 3 months, she left the place. Then I got her this. Then my husband did this for her. But it's never enough. There's some people that would rather have themselves constantly asking you for things. If a lot of people would, you give somebody a job, but the person is looking at this job that they have given me. Yes, they've given me a job and I earn maybe 80K a month. But look at them, they're about to travel the world. Look at their children, see what they are wearing. I want to have exactly what it is that they're having. So they disregard and they are not appreciative of the little that you have given them. You have taught them to fish. That is not what they're looking for. See, it's just a Nigerian thing. In fact, they can accuse many Nigerian wives of this. Nigerian wives have used their marriages to empower their families. In fact, to the point that Nigerian girls look to the partners that they want to marry based on how they think that person can empower their family. So we cannot blame Nigerian women and wives. You know, we cannot accuse them of not helping family, but we can accuse a lot of siblings and family members of disrespecting that thing and taking advantage of it.
You know, I don't know if I've mentioned it here. There's a friend of mine from the university who got married because she put her family to somebody because she put her family first. She came from a very poor home, and she kept, when suitors were coming, she kept selecting, does this one have enough money to take care of mommy and daddy? Does this one have enough this to do this and that? And then she ended up with one man, and the man was able to do some things for her family. After her father died, the man changed. So what we hear now is, I picked you up from the dirt. Your family is always demanding for this, that. And she's always crying. She's still in the marriage, but she cries as often as possible. And I'm still there to give her a listening ear and just try to. But I saw that mistake from early on when she started. I wanted to tell her, go after somebody who would respect you. And you self-respect yourself. It's not every demand that you bring to your family. And it's not as if nobody wants their family members to rise. Because when they rise, it's better for you. When we are all successful, it's better. But do we do it at the level where we now begin to disrespect ourselves? If I didn't marry that person, wouldn't you have succeeded in the first place? I'm not your Messiah. I'm not your Savior. We'll all find a way. But let's do it in a way that the respect comes to us. We earn what we have worked for, and we enjoy it.
I think that's a good way to end this. I think that's a very good to wrap up on this. But I think generally it all goes about respect. Respect. So as much as you see, and I like what Miriam said earlier, that don't say that this is the person that's going to emancipate me, or this person is my Messiah. No, you never know where God is going to help you. So because he's rich or she's rich doesn't mean that that's the person God is going to use. Doesn't mean anything. Just having in your mind that you're going to respect yourself and respect the relationships. Even as a friend, understand that this person connected me, and no matter what happens, even if they fight.
Yes.
At least go through that person. It's out of respect. And I think we all need to learn that. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we have one more hot topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.